And a good Saturday morning from inside the Credit Union Center in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. It is AO Live's continuing coverage of the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships as day number 3 continues. Here's a look at today's schedule in our first game this afternoon. It is the East Coast Blizzard with a 1-1-1-0 record. They'll be taking on the Moncton Flyers with a 1-0-0-1 record. Coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon, you have the Charlottetown Knights taking on the Halifax Max. 1-2 for the Knights, 2-1 for the Max. And then, of course, you get the host team coming up tonight against the Moncton Flyers, the Kensington Wild, who are 2-0-1. On the round robin play. They'll be wrapping up the round robin coming up here against the Moncton Flyers at 7:30 this evening. Quick look at the scoring leaders of the tournament so far, as Jordan Shaw of the Kensington Wild, the host team, will be is leading the way here in scoring with 7 points in 3 games, 3 goals and 4 assists. Derek Andrews, also of the Kensington Wild, 7 points as well. He's got 6 assists, 1 goal and 6 assists. Drew Murphy had a big game last night for the Wild with a hat trick, 4 goals on the tournament there. So you have a look at those guys there. And again, thanks to Atlantic Hockey Hub, my good buddy Jordan McDonald from Atlantic Hockey Hub. He is the one who did up all our graphics here for us. And finally, we'll take a quick look at the overall standings in the tournament so far. And right now, if you look at the standings, everyone is still technically alive and able to make it into the championship game, but at least 2 of these teams, 2 teams will be potentially eliminated pending the outcome of this game. And it basically needs to be the Moncton Flyers have to come out with a win to eliminate 2 of these 5 teams here in this first game this morning. Otherwise, we get into a whole bunch of different mathematical problems coming up to figure things out coming up down the line. So we've got lots of hockey yet to be decided here at the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships. We are going to take a quick timeout. Scott Drummond will be joining me on the call for the first game of the afternoon as puck drop between the Moncton Flyers and the East Coast Blizzard coming up in just a couple of moments. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships on AO Live. And welcome back inside the Credit Union Center here in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. It is the final day of round robin play here at the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships. Jeff Robichaux, Scott Drummond with you. And we're moments away from dropping the puck on today's game between the Moncton Flyers representing New Brunswick and the East Coast Blizzard representing Newfoundland and Labrador. Here is the national anthems, and we'll have a look at the starting goaltenders here in just a couple of moments.
Today's game features the following teams. Representing New Brunswick, we have the Moncton Rally Motors. Representing Newfoundland, we have East Coast Blizzard. because that's what's going to cheer on these boys. Please rise to your table and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Get Uno up and running. I'm going to try and figure out what's going on. And we are just moments away from dropping the puck here this afternoon, and we are underway between the East Coast Blizzard and the Moncton Flyers. Starting goaltenders, Will Morgan for the Blizzard. He'll be at our broadcast right in the white and blue trim uniforms. The Moncton Flyers starting goaltender is Simon Cormier. He's got our broadcast left, and the Flyers in their home reds with black and white trim, having a couple of technical issues here with our graphics program. We'll get to that as soon as we can. There's a shot from DeVoe that goes off the side of the net as the Blizzard will play it back and behind the goal. It's going to be Dylan playing it up the far side, and it'll get kept in at the line by Veilleux. He fires that one in wide of the Blizzard goal. Blizzard playing it out into neutral ice. Will be fired back into Blizzard territory by Veilleux. Here's Mason Strong starting out for the Blizzard. He'll get the red line and he'll dump it into the near corner in Moncton territory. Flyers will skate it out of their own zone. Berube feeds it up the left side, passing the middle of the ice for Jackson Summers. Summers is in over the line, feeds it over for McPhee, and McPhee couldn't get a stick on that pass from Summers. Summers in behind the goal. Weber trying to jam it in short side. Morgan read that one perfectly. Here's Modet. He'll play it down into the corner. McPhee trying to tip it in behind the goal. Summers out in front of the net. It goes off the shoulder of Morgan and all the way back to the right point. Modet for McPhee. McPhee fires a shot that goes off the trapper of the Blizzard goaltender. Berube keeping the play alive down low, but the Blizzard will fire it off the wall, and this will go all the way back down into Moncton territory for an icing call with 1.5 minutes gone here in the opening period, as it's the Moncton Flyers and the East Coast Blizzard here on this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, good early pressure here by the Flyers. That's exactly what they need to start out this game, Jeff.
Face-off is going to be to the left of Will Morgan. Good crowd here for this Saturday afternoon game. As off the draw, Sear walking into the slot, trying to get the shot off, and it rolls wide to the goal as Beliveau got a shot off to the side of the net. Morgan's doing the splits, and Beliveau gets pushed head first into the post. And the net will come off its pegs, and so we'll have another stoppage and play that's 10 seconds gone off the clock there. Another 10 seconds, 18-20 to go here in the first. Again, we're working to try and get some sort of graphics package up here to try at least keep you up to date on what the score is at the very least. Having some internet issues a little bit with one of my computers, and we'll get this solved and figured out here in just a couple of moments. Face off to the right of Morgan. Draw one there by the Flyers. There's Boucher. His shot gets blocked on the way through. Richard chopping it down into the corner. Beliveau couldn't knock that down. It'll come over onto the near side, picked up by Piercy. He gets bumped along the near wall. Belanger looking for the loose puck for the Flyers. Three Flyers are in along the line. Comes loose to the point. Here's Caleb Seale walking in, winds and fires, and that goes off the leg wide of the goal. Bellavo with a shot right on. Morgan with a nice pad save. Puck still loose. Another nice pad save there by Morgan. Will Morgan getting tested early. Here's Belanger in the slot once again. Tucks it between his feet, and he tried to get the shot off, but it rolled off the end of his stick. There's a shot right on. Morgan the save. Big rebound, Richard for Belanger. Belanger working his way down into the corner. He kind of got the signals crossed there with Bellavo, and it is Piercy through the middle of the ice. Over onto the far side. Spurl just chopping inside the line. There's a delayed offside at the Flyers line. The Blizzard tag up, and the Flyers are back the other way. Here's Casey through the neutral zone. Alex Casey has it knocked off his stick, and it'll be picked up by Piercy. He'll play it back onto the Moncton side of the red line. Vigneault over for Veilleux. Through the neutral zone, it's Yannick Richard playing it inside Blizzard territory. Here's Richard trying to feed it over the far side. There's a shot by Pino, and that's stopped there by Morgan. So far in the early stages of this opening period, 3 minutes in, the Flyers are all over the Blizzard here. Here's Casey along the near wall. Puck gets played down into the corner. In Moncton territory, it's Veilleux picking it up. Over onto the far side, Weber for Vigneault jumping up into the play. Vigneault leaves it there for Weber following up. Weber plays it right towards the front of the goal, looking there for McPhee. Couldn't handle the pass. Veilleux, his shot from the point, that goes off a skate. Comes over onto the near side. Here's Strong. He'll just play that over to the open wing in neutral ice. Strong tips it down into... has it go off his stick, and it gets tipped down into Blizzard territory. McPhee back to get it. Plays it there for Weber in the corner. In behind the goal, it hops over the stick of Summers. It'll come all the way back to the point. Moret going to try to keep it in at the line, and he does so. He'll play it. Goes off a skate down below the goal line in the far corner as Summers bumps in there with Connors. Summers comes up with the puck. Jackson Summers plays it towards the front of the goal. Moret pinching down from his point position. That passes with his feet. Dillon will wrap it around onto the near side. Strong trying to tip it out past Moret, and he does so. There's a pass that goes off a skate, but the Flyers are able to regroup and recover. McPhee played inside the line as Weber and Summers will peel off. McPhee's going to continue on the forecheck, and he's going to head off the ice here in a couple of moments. Here's Strong through the neutral zone for the Blizzard. Mason Strong over the line, has it knocked off his stick. Yabsley following up, he couldn't get the shot through, and the Flyers are back the other way. They'll just get it out in neutral ice. DeVoe has it knocked off his stick, and the puck will go back down into Moncton territory. As there you see it, we now have our graphics up and running with 4 minutes and 50 seconds gone. There's a shot from Bork that sails up over the glass, and the players even seen it go up into the netting out of play, and the referees kind of took a moment before a couple of the players went, that went over the glass.
The puck moves so fast at this level of hockey, so I can see that being an issue.
As we have 15:07 to go here in the first period. We have no score between the Blizzard and the Flyers. As that'll get chopped up into the netting once again and over the glass and out of play.
Yeah, really impressive start here for the Flyers, Jeff. It's been down in the Blizzard end the entire time.
Face-off is to the left of Will Morgan. Linesmen are telling the Blizzard to square up and not be turned with their sticks across those little hash marks there. As the puck is down, face-off done fairly, and will back underway as Boucher can't keep it in at the line. Here come the Blizzard in over the line. Morris towards the front of the goal as he was looking there for Yabsley, and that went off the tip of Yabsley's stick and down into the corner. 14:45 to go here in period one. Still looking for our first goal of the game. As we were talking a little bit about the implications this game has for the standings, we'll talk a little bit about that as the game progresses here today. As it'll be Connor skating it through the neutral zone. He'll play it over out on the near side. Moores has it go under his stick, and there's an offside at the Flyers line. $14:24 to go here in the opening period. Flyers and Blizzard, first of 3 games here today at the Credit Union Center. And again, just kind of looking at the crowd, it's a jam-packed house here.
Yeah, this is great
for 2 teams from out of province. as Flynn plays that down into Moncton territory, but that hits the rafters and a stoppage in play. And we have to actually really talk about how well this community supported this tournament this weekend, Scott. I mean, it's been a jam-packed house for the most part. You know, at the Kensington Wild, the bleachers were full, and then they had the standing room only around the board.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a great tournament, and this has been a fun weekend of hockey for sure. I know I've really enjoyed calling it here so far this weekend. Still got 2 more days of it.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking with some of the Blizzard players this morning. They were saying how much they enjoyed Kensington and the facility here and how everyone's been treating them as the, participants in this tournament.
And of course, I'm staying at the same hotel as the teams as well. And they've been keeping it down so that the broadcaster can get some sleep.
Lots of for the boys too. So
nice respect for them and props to them for keeping it quiet. Through the neutral zone, here's Russell. His pass was intended there for Galton. It was too far for him. Party plays on off the wall, bouncing around the neutral ice, picked up there by Dimitri Belanger. Belanger gets pinned against the wall right in front of the Blizzard bench, and it's controlled there by the Blizzard. There's a pass that goes right through the feet of Russell and will go all the way back into Moncton territory. Here's Malik Vigneault. He'll start it out very dangerously through the neutral zone. Vigneault dishes it off for Belanger. He'll dish it down in behind the Blizzard goal. Party there to pick it up for the Blizzard. Off the wall for Declan Flynn. Flynn's pass to the middle of the ice picked up by Galton. He gets the red line and fires it into Moncton territory. Pino will chop it up the right wall for Alex Casey. Here's Jacob Veilleux jumping up into the play. Veilleux working his way into the slot. Casey on the backhand gets the shot off. Morgan was able to stop that one easily. Veilleux out in front of the goal. Pino with a shot right on. Morgan the save. Puck's bouncing around in the slot. And the Blizzard are able to get it out into neutral ice. But Veilleux threw a big hit in the slot area, and that allowed the Blizzard to actually come down on an odd man rush. Puck rolls right to Simon Cormier, and he grabs onto that for a stoppage in play.
Morgan has to be sharp in between the pipes here for the Blizzard. He's getting all kinds of shots from every angle, Jeff, in front. He's been solid for the Blizzard here today.
Simon Cormier with the first touch of the puck, forcing a stoppage in play with 13:03 to go here in period number 1. Again, still looking for our first goal of the game here this afternoon.
Morning, afternoon, evening, Jeff.
It's all the same when you've been here for 4.5 days at this point already. Well worth it, though. Here's Summers in over the line. He fires a shot, and that's easily handled there by Morgan, and will bring the face-off to his left. Shots on goal right now, Scott, according to the count we have online, 7-1 favoring the Moncton Flyers. There's a Flyers player who came across the ice. I didn't catch what number it was. I think it might have been number 21, Brady Beliveau. I just caught it at the very last second. So we'll see if it's an equipment issue or if it's an injury issue for Beliveau.
Wild break, you never know, Jeff.
As the puck will get played over onto the far side, bounces off the wall and takes a Flyers bounce for them momentarily as the Blizzard tried to spring Strong, and he'll pick it up and he'll play it down. They're Strong, down into Moncton territory. Here's Summers skating through the neutral zone. Summers dishes it off for Weber. Weber into the slot, fires a shot off the goalpost. Nathan Weber with a rifle of a wrist shot. Here's Jones back the other way. His shot, that gets blocked by Isaac Berube. That goes down into the corner. Berube gets hammered down hard there by Strong. Strong trying to throw his weight on Morat as well. So the captain of the Blizzard trying to fire up the troops. And here's a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1 shaping up. Weber for Summers, back to Weber, back to Summers, and it denied by. What a great save by Will Morgan.
Great back and forth action there. It was Strong was one of the players I was talking to this morning, and he was ready for this game, Jeff.
And he certainly so did. He went and threw a big hit on Isaac Berube down behind the Flyers goal, and then he went and gave a bump to Luc Moret down in the same corner, and then it looks like Will Morgan's also here to play because he just stopped that 3-on-1 that had 2 rebounds on it, and you can see why the Charlottetown Islanders selected him in the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League draft. Draw one there by the Blizzard. They'll wrap it around the wall. McCarthy can't get to it. Down in the corner, comes over onto the near side. Pino will poke it into the corner. Blizzard will come up with it, and they'll just flick it out. And actually, Jacob Pino going up like a wide receiver there, knocking that one down and playing it back inside Blizzard territory. DeVoe bumps his man in the corner. Puck gets cleared out as far as the line. Sealed was unable to keep it in, and he'll just dump it back into Blizzard territory. Declan Flynn plays it off the wall over into the far corner. Picked up there by McCarthy on the right wall. He'll play it up into neutral ice through the neutral zone. This is Moores in over the line. This is not for Flynn jumping up into the play. Puck down in behind the goal. Moore is trying to play it in front of the goal, but it's pulled out there by the Flyers, and there's going to be a penalty here coming up to the Blizzard as Richard was taken down in the neutral zone, and the first power play of the afternoon is going to go to the Moncton Flyers.
Yeah, got tangled up there with the Moncton player. Didn't look like anything malicious happened, but at the end of the day, it's a penalty.
So the face-off will be to the right of Will Morgan. Blizzard will pin it against the wall down in the corner. Graham Cleary trying to chew up some seconds off the clock, but the Flyers work it loose. Try to play it back to the point. Vigneault peeled back, and that allowed the Blizzard to come up with it and chip it down into Moncton territory. Moore's on the puck. The correction, that's Ethan Jones on the puck. Tried to play it out in front of the goal, but that was broken up as Galton was standing there in the slot area unattended. Here's the Flyers captain, Nathan Weber, trying to play to Summers. That goes off his skate, but he'll corral it once again at the point. Vigneault plays it there for McPhee. McPhee waiting, drop back for Vigneault. Vigneault over for Weber, top of the left circle, down low for Summers. Out in front of the goal, McPhee couldn't get a stick on it. Vigneault at the point. He gets away from Galton. Vigneault fires a shot through, and that just missed the right pad of Morgan. Here's McPhee, top of the right point, back for Vigneault. Vigneault over for Weber. Weber down low for Summers. Summers trying to go back door for McPhee, but that was a nice play there by Will Morgan to stop that pass from going right through the top of the blue paint for McPhee, and he was able to put his trapper on it to hang on. 9:58 to go here in period number one. Again, we're looking for our first goal of the game. Still 56 seconds to go in the Flyers power play. Modet down deep off the draw. Bork trying to work it free. DeVoe is actually the one trying to work it free down in the corner. Modet back to the point for Sear. Sear over for DeVoe, Over back for Modet. Modet with the shot that goes off a leg off the blocker of Morgan. He didn't know where it was for a moment, but the Blizzard are able to come up with it and clear it out in the neutral ice. Half a minute to go now in the Flyers power play. 9.5 minutes to go here in period one. As that gets dumped down into Blizzard territory, and the Blizzard forward had a stick blow up on him. Modet trying to feed the shot through. That was broken up, and the Blizzard are away. Connors gets it up as far as the Flyers line. Nice dipsy-doodle move there by Caleb Sear. DeVoe had to deal with that broken stick that's down on the ice to receive that pass. Blizzard are able to get it out in the neutral ice. Here's Connors back the other way now for the Blizzard. Connors hits the brakes on Sear. He'll feed it over into the slot. There's an opportunity now for the Blizzard. There's a shot right on, and Simon Cormier with the save as Thomas McCarthy took the shot and lost an edge and went down into the corner. 8:56 to go now here in the period as the Blizzard have killed off that power play of the Flyers. So we're now back at even strength.
Might be a bit of a motivation for them now, Jeff, to kill off that penalty, and they seem to be a little bit more alive than they were starting the period.
Face-off is to the left of Simon Cormier. As there's a shot right on. Rebound is cleared away there by the Flyers. This is going to go down for an icing call. They'll bring the face-off back into Moncton territory. As the face-off will be to the right of the Flyers' goal. Draw one there by the Blizzard. They'll play it back to the point. There's a shot from Cleary. That just misses the blocker side of Simon Cormier. Party, trying to throw it out in front of the goal. That was broken up at the side of the Flyers' goal. Blizzard on the far side, Sproul down into the corner. Vigneault plays it into the corner for big Jacob Veilleux. Pass up the left side. Pat bounces off the stick back down into Blizzard territory. Party trying to pick up that pass on the near side. He got bumped and the puck will come out to neutral ice. It'll be Veilleux dumping it back into Blizzard territory. 8:05 to go here in period number 1. Pass to the neutral zone. That goes off the stick of Summers. Blizzard will play it down into Moncton territory, but this will go down for an icing call, and the face-off will come back into Blizzard territory now with 7:56 remaining here in period 1. Shots on goal right now. The Flyers are out shooting the Blizzard by 10. It's 12-2 right now in the shots on goal department. Blizzard win the draw. Here's McPhee out in front of the goal. That pass was broken up. The Blizzard will just flick that out into neutral ice, and Berube will fire it back into Blizzard territory. A couple of Flyers on the puck. Weber's first on the puck. He gets taken down, gets right back up, maintains control. Weber in behind the Blizzard goal and avoids a big check there by Connors.
He's slippery along those boards, Jeff.
He is. Here's Weber once again. Tried to go kind of a little flip pass out in front of the goal, looking for Summers. Mudda at the point. His shot goes off a leg. It'll bounce over into the corner. Here's Summers trying to feed McPhee. That pass was broken up. McPhee throws his weight around. Mudda's going to keep the play alive here at the near wall. Mudda now with it at the top of the circle. He fires a shot right on, and Morgan with the save, and he will hang on for a stoppage in play.
Well, we got a penalty coming here too, Jeff. A little push after the whistle.
And it looks like it's going to be Gavin Connors. I think he was a little frustrated trying to keep up with Nathan Weber down along that half wall.
He was moving.
He was spinning and using his edges and going inside and out and up and down. He got pushed down, still managed to keep control of the puck, and face-off will be to the right of Morgan. Second power play opportunity of the afternoon for the Flyers. Draw one there by the Flyers. Here's Sear. His shot, that misses the goal. Pino tried to one-hand it towards the front of the goal, fired it wide, and that allowed the Blizzards to pick it up and fire it down into Moncton territory. Here's DeVoe. Over onto the far side for Tristan Richard. He gets bumped down in the corner. Pino will play it over into the corner for Richard. Richard gets tripped up. There's DeVoe at the right point. DeVoe over for Richard. For Sia. Sia walking the line, keeping it right in at the blue line. Very close. As there's a backdoor pass. DeVoe with a shot, and I don't think that one got through. DeVoe drops it for Sia. Sia walking in down low. Pino trying to go backdoor, bounces off a couple of bodies, and it's across the line, and they score! I do believe it was Simon Bork, the last one to touch it in front of the goal. He kind of jammed at it, and the way Bork reacted, I do believe he was the last one to touch the puck, and so the Moncton Flyers are now up 1-0 on a power play marker with 6:21 to go here in the opening period.
Probably the 12th shot of that period. Eventually, those are going to go in.
I would say that that's probably the 13th or 14th or 15th even. There's
about three in that one play.
There's 3 or 4 at least in that one play alone. As Vigneault all the way back in his own zone. Plays it off the wall over onto the far side. Nobody there for the Flyers. Connors will play that back down into the corner. There's a shot from a bad angle off the side of the net. Flyers clear it out as far as the line. There's Hines with a shot. That gets knocked down there by the Flyers as it'll be played out in the neutral ice. Pass over into the far side for Weber. Goes off his stick. Blizzard played back towards the Flyers line. Veilleux gets bumped as the puck goes down right to Morgan, and he'll put the trapper on it and he'll hang on. And yes, it is Simon Bork. with the power play goal. Caleb
Sear
Sear with the assist.
Speaking of Sear, that was some confident puck on the blue line. He has confidence in his control of the puck.
I was talking to John DeCourcy this morning, actually, before the game, and he's very confident with the skill in the back end that he has from his D. All of his defensemen aren't afraid to jump up and get engaged early in the play, take some risk, and it pays off a lot of the times. Here's Weber with a shot. McPhee with a shot off the rebound, and Morgan sliding across with the trapper. Got a piece of it and was denied McPhee, who had a wide open net, and it was pretty much a gift for him as the puck will get played down the ice. And this will be an icing call. And just to finish that thought, that for the Moncton Flyers, their offense really starts with their skilled D-men who, you got guys like Malik Borgvino, Caleb Sear, Luc Modet, Jacob Veilleux, Isaac Berube. Like, all six of them can really move the puck really well, and their skating ability is second to none.
Yeah.
And so they're not afraid to get engaged in the offensive zone as well, and so it's allowed them to have a lot of success this season, and even in years past as well. Along the near side, it'll be Moores to the middle of the ice. McCarthy pokes it into Moncton territory. Simon Cormier, confident pass up to Tristan Richard. Up the right side for Belanger. Belanger to the middle of the ice. Drop back for Richard, and the Blizzard are back the other way. Here's McCarthy. He'll dump it down into the open corner. Under 5 minutes to go here in the opening period. Through the neutral zone. That gets knocked down into the corner. Modet, he gets bumped there by Strong. Puck will come over onto the near side. Sear will play it up onto the near wing for Richard. Richard back for Belanger. He plays it over onto the far side for Summers. And Summers will play that just inside the long. Here's a long pass up the left side for Strong. Strong into the slot. Jones, his shot, that gets blocked there by Vigneault. Bork unable to get it out at the line. Vigneault will play it all the way back over into the far corner. Berube, he gets hammered down hard by Strong, and I don't think Berube was expecting Strong to come out of his blind side there as that goes down the ice, and that's going to be an icing call. And so I think Isaac Berube is going to think twice about not keep looking over his shoulder next time before making that pass.
Oh, Strong's got some wheels on him today. I think he wants this game.
Face-off is deep in Moncton territory. Declan Flynn trying to work it back down deep along the wall. Puck bouncing around just inside the Flyers line, and it's cleared out. Here's Jones now for the Blizzard. For Flynn. Up for Jordan Flynn. Flynn working his way in. Dishes it off. Strong into the slot. Here's Moores with a shot that goes off a stick and up over the glass and out of play. So the first kind of real offensive zone opportunity there for the Blizzard. And it was denied there by the Flyers defense as they managed to redirect that one up over the glass and into the protective netting. 3:52 to go here in period one.
A couple more shots there from the Blizzard. I don't know where we're at there now, Jeff, but they must be notching up there a little bit.
Right now, the shots on goal are 21-5.
Well, a little bit.
little one-sided. The Flyers with a 1-0 lead again on a goal by Simon Bork. Flyers have also had a couple of power play opportunities as well, and that accounts to the shot total for sure with the team that the Flyers have in the power play units they can throw out there at any given time.
Yeah.
As that gets played off the wall back into Blizzard territory, Hines will play it over for Flynn. Long pass to the neutral zone. It goes past everyone, and this will result in an icing call against the Blizzard, and so the face-off is going to come all the way back in Moncton territory, East Coast Blizzard territory, with 3:26 to go here in the first period. We do have our clock cameras in position, but there's someone who's actually kind of sitting right in front of it. We're going to have to make some adjustments here during the first period intermission, but I can tell you there is 3:26 to go here in the opening period. 1-0 Flyers. Puck bouncing around in the slot. Here's the Flyers. Summers with a shot. That'll go off the stick wide of the goal. Weber will pick it up in the near corner. Weber, he gets rubbed out by Yabsley. Another body comes in to try to take down Weber, and then that body went down. Out into the slot looking for Weber, and that goes under his skate and all the way back out in the neutral ice.
Another stick on the loose in the slot area.
As Caleb Sear tried to feed it over, and that was knocked down nicely there by Jordan Flynn, but Flynn unable to get up and get caught up to that puck. As the puck comes back inside Moncton territory, Sia plays it up for Summers. Summers trying to feed it for McPhee. That was broken up. Here's Connors in over the line. Tries to drop it for Flynn, and that's picked up there by McPhee, and he'll skate back down the left side in over the Blizzard line. Toe drag with the shot. Goes off the end wall. Puck is loose at the side of the goal, and it'll be picked up there by the Blizzard. Blizzard will clear that all the way down the ice, and this is going to go down for another icing call and another stoppage in play with 2:24 to go now here in the first.
Yeah, we're talking about those combinations of what could happen tomorrow, Jeff. It's all up in the air at the moment, and this game is on the line for both teams.
For sure. So, I mean, do or die really for everyone today. As Vigneault works his way down into the corner, he'll hit the brakes. Looking for some options. He'll play it back to the point for Richard. Richard down into the corner. Belanger can't knock it down, but it's picked up on the near side. Belanger will pick it up once again in behind the goal. He actually lifts the stick of Griffith. Griffith takes down Richard down in the corner. Casey up there looking for the loose puck for the Flyers. Gets it there into the slot. Here's Belanger working his way over onto the near side. Drops it back for Vigneault. Vigneault over for Veilleux. Back for Vigneault. And he'll just play it down into the behind the Blizzard goal confidently. Tristan Richard spins away from a check. Plays it there for Alex Casey. He'll work his way up the right side, back to the right point. Vigneault, his shot redirected, and lots of traffic in front of Morgan, and somehow he managed to get a piece of it. I didn't know. I don't know how he's seen that one, because I had a hard time seeing it from our vantage point here. 1:36 to go here in the first.
It must have been a 6-inch gap in between those skates and went right through the middle without touching anybody.
They threaded the needle, as they say, with that shot to get towards the Blizzard goal. Again, 1:36 to go here in the opening period. A 1-0 Flyers lead on a goal by Simon Bourque.
There are lots of conversations happening on that Blizzard bench. Wanting to call out of that, I think, Jeff, out of that play down there.
As there's they're having some issues with the net down there still, I think. Because it looks like the linesmen were sitting there kind of trying to hammer that net down. Yeah, they do have a little bit of issues with the net at the crease area down at this end of the ice, because it's the furthest away from the ice plant here at the Credit Union Center. So this time of year, it kind of gets a little bit soft and a little bit mushy, and the pegs tend to not want to stay in very well. As the Blizzard are through the neutral zone, Yabsley will dump it in and behind the Flyers' goal. Sear plays it into the near corner. Sear gets run over hard in the corner, and he's very slow to get up. As that could
clean hit.
That could have been a high hit. Sear kind of doesn't really know. He's
slow.
He's very, very.
Shook it off.
I think he's going to try. As there's a pass that goes out in front of the goal, comes over onto the near side, and it gets out into neutral ice. Yabsley can't knock it down. McCarthy plays it over. Sear does get off the ice finally, and that gets played over to the far side off the stick of Cormier. DeVoe bumps his man down in the corner. As DeVoe will play it over onto the far side. Pino will pick it up for the Flyers. He'll skate it back in behind his own goal. 35 seconds to go here in the opening period. Pino starting up the right side. In over the line. Pino, his pass goes off a skate wide of the goal, picked up by Bourque. Bourque for Weber. Weber, his shot, that gets blocked. And the Blizzard will play it out in neutral ice. As Caleb Sear is being tended to there by the trainer over on the bench.
I didn't get a great angle on it. It was tucked right in that corner.
He got hit hard and up high. As there's a shot that'll go off his stick, bouncing to the right of Morgan. He'll steer that into the corner with 5 seconds to go.
Sear's not overly tall, so that's probably...
Here's Bourque at the line. He tries to toe drag it at the line, and the buzzer will sound to bring to an end the opening 20 minutes here. Sear was kind of off balance, reaching for the puck a little bit too.
Yeah.
But in any event, he got absolutely hit hard, and we'll see how he feels. He's skating across the ice here in his own accord, so that's a good sign.
It's not his first hit or his last.
I'm sure it's not, but in any event, the Moncton Flyers are heading to the dressing room with a 1-0 lead after 20 minutes of play here at the Credit Union Center. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have a look at the scoring summary And we'll talk about that opening 20 minutes here in Kensington. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships on AO Live.
Sponsors for making this tournament all possible.
Welcome back inside Credit Union Center in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. It is first period intermission as it continues here between the Moncton Flyers and the East Coast Blizzard. The Flyers with a 1-0 lead after 20 minutes of play, and that period could have been a lot more one-sided and lopsided if it wasn't for goaltender Will Morgan of the East Coast Blizzard.
Wow.
He's seen 23 shots alone in that first period. The Flyers out shooting the Blizzard 23-5 in the opening 20 minutes.
I mean, not only the goaltending for the Blizzard, the Flyers just came out pressing hard, dumping the puck in their zone, and I don't think the puck came out of their zone for any amount of minutes.
There's probably a good 5-6 minute stretch at a time that the Flyers were able to maintain defensive zone coverage, or offensive zone coverage, excuse me, and they were just tenacious on the forecheck and all over the on the puck, and you could see some of the Blizzards starting to get frustrated because I don't think they were used to seeing a team this fast and this skilled down along the wall. I mean, you've seen Weber get away from Gavin Connors a couple of times, and Connors was just kind of like, what and how is he still on his feet with the puck? And so this Moncton Flyers team is throwing anything and everything at the East Coast Blizzard here in the opening 20 minutes, and again, They shot early, they shot often, and they managed to bury one home on the power play, on a power play goal by Simon Bork, and it was just one of those dirty, ugly goals where they got the puck to the net, crashed and banged. They got about 3 or 4 shots at it before it finally got across the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, a couple unlucky penalties here for the Blizzard. I mean, and that just got them back on their heels a little bit more. And then just a relentless 5-on-5 pressure from the Flyers on top of the, trying to kill a penalty on top of that, and then just the amount of shots and the follow-through to the net that the Flyers are doing. Thank goodness for the Blizzard goalie just standing on his head. And even I was talking to the coach in between the period, and he's like, wow, what an amazing performance by our goalie. So.
I do believe his exact words were, the goaltender coach needs a raise, I think. So with that being said, our first period intermission will continue. We're going to take another quick timeout. We'll get all set for second period action here at the Credit Union Center as the Moncton Flyers with a 1-0 lead over the East Coast Blizzard. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships on AO Live. And welcome back inside the Credit Union Center here in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. Day number 4 of the 2025 U18 Atlantic Hockey Championships here in Kensington. Jeff Robichaud, Scott Drummond with you on this Saturday afternoon. Final day of round-robin play. Lots to be decided here in the final day of action.
4 games left, Jeff.
4 games left. 3 today in the championship game tomorrow afternoon here in Kensington. As the fate of a couple of teams could be decided at the conclusion of this game right here. And then depending potentially at the conclusion of this game, the fate of 5 teams might still be in the balance of the final 2 games of the
Roll a
afternoon.
dice for the rest of it, yeah.
Yeah, if you're a betting man or trying to find the combinations, go to the craps table and start throwing some dice around and see what happens and comes out.
Tell us what the results are, and we'll
because that's about the extent of what we know what's going to potentially happen here. We were told going into today there's 8 different scenarios, so all teams are still mathematically still alive right now.
Robert to the canteen,
As there's a
please.
shot that
Robert
goes
to the canteen.
just a little bit wide of the Blizzard goal. Second period action here, the Flyers with a 1-0 lead, a power play goal by Sima Bork back in the first period, getting the Flyers on the board as Vingo fans on his shot, plays it down into the corner. There's the aforementioned Sima Bork. He has it knocked off his stick. And the Blizzard will just play it out in the neutral ice. It'll be knocked down there by Veilleux. Veilleux using that long reach of his to knock that down and keep it away from the 3 Blizzard that were all over him.
6'5" reach there, I think.
I think so. Flyers turn it over at the line. Connors into the corner. There's McCarthy throwing towards the front of the goal. Connors with another shot right on. And Simon Cormier with another save. So they're alone. The Blizzard getting a few more shots on goal. They're starting off the period. As again, they were outshot 23-5 in the opening 20 minutes.
I mean, Simon Cormier needs to stay sharp, even though the few shots he's got, there were tough shots. They were good shots. So
They were.
He's got to keep his focus.
Face-off is to the left of the Flyers' goal. Jones loses the draw to Summers, plays it in behind the goal, and there's another big bump in behind the Flyers' goal, but the Flyers are able to maintain possession. Here's Weber in over the line. Weber moving to the middle of the ice, trying to get a shot off as a stick lifted at the last second, and Weber thought there should have been a penalty there on him. As the puck rolled right to Morgan, puck comes out in front of the goal. It's cleared out as far as the line. Berube plays it back into the slot. McPhee gets bumped. The Summers for Weber. Weber trying to go back for McPhee. Does so. There's a shot. Goes off the post. Puck rolling around in the blue paint. And that's cleared away there by the Blizzard. And this is going to go all the way down the ice. And this is going to be an icing call. And as Morgan was sprawling back into position and scrambling back into position, he lost his goal stick over in the corner.
He was rolling around in his back, too. I don't know how that stayed out.
That's about the second one, I think, of those mad goalmouth scrambles that he had to, do his best Dominic Hasek impersonation to try and keep the puck from going across the goal line. Draw one there by Weber at the point. Morad will play it down into the corner. McPhee on the puck for the Flyers, He gets bumped down below the goal line. Party comes up to the puck on the left side, and he'll play it up the left wing. And here's Jordan Flynn. He'll play it into Moncton territory. Berube kind of knocked it down. It went right back to Flynn. Flynn picks it up once again in behind the goal. Walking out into the slot area. His shot goes off the blocker of Cormier. And it's picked up by Luc Modet off the wall on the far side for McPhee. Comes all the way over onto the left wing for Nathan Weber. Weber fires that one down into the far corner. McPhee bumps his man in behind the goal. Summers up there looking for the loose puck as well. Here's McPhee dancing out of the corner, back to the point for Boucher. Boucher, his shot, looking for the redirect. That sails wide of the trapper of Morgan. Here's Flynn now through the neutral zone. As it knocked off a stick there by Louis-Simon Boucher. Summers trying to reach for it. Richard keeping it at the line, over for McPhee, right side. McPhee with a shot, and that goes off the shoulder of Morgan. Boucher trying to play back in deep, broken up there by the Blizzard, but Blizzard are unable to get it out. Richard, this is a down low for Summers. Summers off the wall, back for Boucher at the line. Feeds it over into the far side. Sear, his shot right on, finds the trapper of Morgan, and he'll hang on. So it's nice to see Caleb Sear back out on the ice after he got hit really hard and heavy at the tail end of that first period, and he was very slow to get off the ice, but back out there now for the Flyers.
Yeah, I was wondering when we were going to see him, Jeff. It's good to see him back.
I don't think he missed a shift.
No.
Since that one happened at the end of the period, so
definitely an important part of the blue line here for the Flyers.
Key player in the power play unit on the second unit for the Flyers. 17.5 to go here in the second period. Flyers with a 1-0 lead. Here's McCarthy working his way in, but he has it chopped away from him there by Sear. Boucher jumping up into the play, but Connors will come back the other way. Here's a potential 2-on-1. Connors towards the front of the goal. That pass broken up by Caleb Sear, and he'll swat it out in the neutral ice. Here's McCarthy. He'll fire it into Moncton territory. Connors towards the front of the goal. Nobody there for the Blizzard. Here's McCarthy on the near side. Down into the corner. Hops over the stick of Connors. Spurl out in front of the goal. There's a penalty here coming up to the Flyers. Party over onto the far side. Shot right on. Cormier the save. He puts the trapper on it, and he'll hang on. So the first power play opportunity of the day for the Blizzard are coming up. 3:09 into period number 2.
A little bit of a push in front of the net, I think, before the shot.
It's going to be Tristan Richard going off for the trip. And so we'll see what the Blizzard can do here with the power play here at the start of the second period. Good opportunity here for the Blizzard to get some momentum going their way and get a few more shots on goal directed towards Simon Cormier. Here's Veilleux. He reaches it around and fires it around the net. He can almost reach around the net with that long stick of his.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get a stick that long, actually. I know buying it for my son, he's about the same height. You got to get a special type of stick for it.
Puck gets played down the ice, and that's the same thing as a friend of mine whose son plays for the Rimouski Oceanic right now is Connor Sturgeon. And Connor was playing with a former Moncton Flyer here as well, and he's 6'4", 6'5", and is trying hard to find sticks that size for him, and had to kind of get a couple of them custom made.
You don't want to put extensions or anything in them that it changes the flex.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Flynn at the right point. Pass into the slot, and that goes. Yabsley has it roll off his stick. Moret, he lost that puck battle against two Blizzards down in the corner. Yabsley down in the corner, trying to work it away from Veilleux. Veilleux gets a stick in there on Yabsley, but Yabsley will come up with it. Plays it back to the point. Spurl back middle of the ice. Here's Flynn, top of the right circle. Down into the corner for Yabsley. For Moores on the near side. Flynn plays it back down into the corner. Yabsley trying to go back door. That was broken up by who else but Jacob Veilleux, and fires it down the ice.
Yeah, good pressure by the Blizzard on this power play.
They had some good sustained zone time.
Oh, there goes a stick.
As the stick of Simon Bork was slashed right out of his hand. Weber down deep, trying to poke it free, but it's picked up by Sead. He'll wrap it around on the near side, and he's able to get it all the way down the ice. 15 seconds to go now in the Blizzard power play. Jones all the way back deep in his own zone and behind Morgan. As the penalty to Tristan Richard is now over, the teams are now back at even strength. So a couple of good looks there by the Blizzard, but they weren't able to get any shots through on Cormier. There's a shot, will bounce off a leg, knocked down by Seal. Seal gets pushed down from behind, but he's able to get it up to Small Bork. Up for Richard. Richard drops it there for Bork. Bork with a shot right on. Morgan the save. And he'll hang on with 14 minutes and 33 seconds to go here in period number 2. As the Flyers continue to hang on to a 1-0 lead over the East Coast Blizzard.
Yeah, Morgan's doing everything he can to keep the Blizzard in this game, and I think it only takes one shot against Simon Cormier to change things here, and it's they're coming.
Although just to tell you how many shots he's already seen. Normally you only see this many shots at the end of a game. He's already seen 27 shots.
Oh, wow.
Now we're only 5.5 minutes into the second period. Here's Berube. He'll dump that back in. So he's already made 26 saves on the afternoon. Although the Blizzard have 4 shots this period as well. So, I mean, they've slowly getting up into the double-digit numbers. They haven't made it there yet. They've only got 9 total shots so far. Here's Duffett. Dishes it off. There's a shot, and that'll be steered aside, and there's shot number 10. Blizzard playing in back and behind the goal. Moret bumping his man. Puck will get played over onto the near side. Berube can't get to it. Pardy will chop it back down deep in Moncton territory. Summers feeds it up the right side for McPhee. McPhee over onto the near side for Richard. Richard gets bumped hard in neutral ice. He'll pick it up in the neutral zone. He'll play it down into Blizzard territory. Richard gets bumped hard as he was going in after the puck, but the Flyers will control. Summers back to the point for Berube. Berube feeds that through, and that goes off the blocker of Morgan. Summers right through the blue paint. Nobody there for the Flyers, as that'll be cleared away there by Galton. I don't know how Morgan seen that pass. Turnover at the Blizzard line, but the Blizzard are making a change, and it was brought in offside before the Blizzard's players could get onto the bench.
The positions of those doors are always tricky.
You know, the bench is what, about 20 feet long, give or take, and the doors are the doors are about halfway on either side of the blue line. And it's not just that bench; it's also over on the other bench as well. So I mean, it's a bit of a disadvantage when you're making that change as that goes all the way down the ice. This is going to be an icing call. They're going to bring the face-off back into Moncton territory. Notice that one little line change there, and that may have been just because of the power play, the penalty kill there to the Blizzard, but Nathan Weber was off that line with Summers and McPhee for a moment. They had Tristan Richard there.
Okay, a little change.
I can't really see if the captain is on the bench from here.
Could the player come back out that left the ice?
I have not seen Brady Beliveau, so that might be the line juggling that was going on there. So as that'll get played down into the near corner, gets tipped down into Moncton territory. Veilleux plays it along the near side. Yannick Richard can't get it out. Connors trying to get the shot through, knocked down by Vigneault. Vigneault is in over the Blizzard line, fires a shot that goes off a stick, and that'll find the netting above the glass for a stoppage and play. 12:41 to go. 12:41 to go here in period number 2. Face-off is to the left of Will Morgan. Draw one there by the Flyers. Here's Berube. His shot gets through. Morgan steers that one up off the glass. And that was a shot number 30 that he's faced already. Here's Flynn through the neutral zone. He'll dish it down into the far corner. Party going into the corner. Bumps with Berube down in the corner. Back to the point. There's Declan Flynn. Shot, score!
Right from the blue line. What a shot.
That was a rolling puck.
Just a knuckleball.
He wasn't able to get much on the slap shot from the point. But nonetheless, it finds the back of the net, and the East Coast Blizzard are on the board. It is all tied up at 1.
Like I said, one shot only. It could change the momentum of this game.
As that puck gets played down into Moncton territory. Here's Flynn at the line, trying to get the shot through, but that was broken up at the side of the goal, as it'll be fired in wide of Moncton's Simon Cormier. Caleb Sear turning it over. Here's Connors trying to play it out in front of the goal. That was broken up. McPhee will pick it up. Here's Weber. Weber is back on this line with Summers and McPhee. So there might be a little bit of line juggling going on here with the missing winger of being Brady Beliveau. Puck comes over onto the near side. Here's Weber. He'll play it in over the line. Weber's got McPhee going to the net. Gets it to McPhee. Summers. Backdoor play. They score! What a beautiful tic-tac-toe goal there by the Moncton Flyers as they retake the lead at 2-1. Just a beautiful play. Weber brought it in over the line. McPhee was busting hard down the right side. Weber fed it to McPhee right across the top of the blue paint, and it was a hard enough pass that all Jackson Summers had to do was put his stick down and put it up under the crossbar, and that's exactly what he did, and the Flyers are now back out to the lead at 2-1 with 11:38 to go here in period number 2.
Not much Morgan could do on that one.
No. And that's the thing with this Moncton Flyers offense is just when you think you've got them on their heels, after you score, they'll come right back out with their top line. Here's Belanger, backhand shot. Casey trying to reach for it. He'll play it along the wall. He gets taken down on the far side. Richard kicks it down below the goal line. Belanger on it. Leaves it there for Richard. Wraparound attempt right through the blue paint. There's a shot from Moret that goes wide of the Blizzard goal. Boucher plays it down along the wall. Richard trying to throw his hit his man. There's a turnover at the line. Belanger backhand shot. They score! Dimitri Belanger manages to squeak one through the legs of Will Morgan, and the Flyers are now out to a 2-goal lead at 3-1. Morgan did not see that one at all He had a Flyers forward standing right in front of him. Belanger didn't get much on the shot, but it managed to find its way through, and the Flyers are up by 2.
Innocent looking shot from the point, but it did find, like I said, it threaded that needle in through. I don't know how many legs and sticks, but back of the net it goes.
As the face-off will come up at center ice, and we're back underway as the Flyers are really starting to take it to the blizzard here as we approach the halfway mark of the second period.
And the game.
And the game as well. As it'll be Strong playing up on the near side. DeVoe knocks it down, but Flynn will fire it into Moncton territory. Here's Sima Bork, who opened the scoring. He tried to fire it in, that goes off a leg. Pino following up, he rolls out just wide of the goal. As they're just announcing the goal from Jackson Summers, but the official on the Blizzard goal is Declan Flynn from Ethan Percy, and that goal coming at the 7:21 mark, excuse me. And then it was Jackson Summers retaking the lead for the Flyers. Mark McPhee, Nathan Weber picking up the assist there. That goal coming at the 8:22 mark, and then Dimitri Belanger extending the lead to 2 at 3-1. Alex Casey and Tristan Richard picking up the assist, and that goal coming at the 9:02 mark. As the Blizzard trying to jam it in at the side of the goal, puck's loose in the blue paint, still loose, couple of whacks at it, somehow Simon Cormier manages to find that with all players except for one player standing out here at the point, basically standing in the blue paint. Caleb Sear had his helmet ripped off. You got Mason Strong going after Nathan Weber down in the corner. Weber was just letting Strong take the shots and give the shots, and I'm sure there's going to be a couple of penalties here going both ways.
Certainly.
After
that mad scramble.
That was just I think some would say that was almost pure insanity at the top of the blue paint there, with everyone going in. And is there only 2 players from the Blizzard getting penalties here out of all this? Was it going to be a 5-on-3 for the Flyers?
You got 2 Blizzards in there. I don't know.
Oh no, I think there's a couple of Flyers making their way over here too. McPhee's heading to the box, but it looks like the Blizzard might be getting the extra 2 out of all this.
I think you take your notepad out there and write some numbers down. You don't know who to throw in there, really.
Well, listen, with all the bodies that were down in the blue paint, it would have been hard to keep track of all the numbers down in there.
I used to do the 2 and 10s to everybody on the line. Just get to the box.
Oh, you were that type of referee, were you? And so I think out of all this, it looks like it is going to be a Moncton power play. There's 2 Blizzards in the box. Mark McPhee is the other player in the box for the Flyers. Unless somehow Mark McPhee ended up getting 4 minutes, and that his 4 minutes will cancel out the other 2 minutes.
I don't know if Strong might get the extra 2. He was a little aggressive after the whistle.
Is he in the penalty box there? I didn't see him go into the box, but
maybe not. Not done yet.
I think he is in there, because I think that's Jordan Flynn, who's getting the conversation there with the referee. Now the referee's going to come over and talk to head coach Mike Lee. You know, it looks like the Flyers are a little bit short down on their bench right now. They've only got 10 bodies on the bench, plus the 5 guys on the ice. And Mason Strong did pick up the extra 2, Scott. And so it is going to be a power play here for the Moncton Flyers. So, again, don't see Brady Beliveau back out on the ice. I haven't seen him out there since he went across the ice in the first period.
Head coach pretty animated over there with Blizzard. Not happy with the
in any event,
short-handed situation they're in now.
In any event, it's going to be a Flyers power play as they're up by a pair. Weber going to pinch in down from the point, and actually he will come up the puck along the near wall. Down into the corner, force. Summers back to the point. Or correction, that's Richard. Weber now with it at the point, back for Vigneault. Vigneault back to Weber. Weber fires a shot that goes off a leg and up over the glass and out of play. As it's going to be Summers, Richard, Pino up front, Weber, and Vigneault on the back end. Normally, where Pino is playing, that's the spot occupied by Mark McPhee, but McPhee is in the penalty box for 2 minutes. So John DeCourcy having to kind of juggle things up here a little bit. on the power play unit. And the Blizzard get it as far as the line, kept in by Vigneault. Here's Weber. Back for Vigneault, walking in, wrist shot, and they score! Nope, puck went off the goal post. Morgan scrambles, Weber with a shot right on, and Morgan with the save.
Looked like it hit the center post.
It looked like it hit the center post and came right back out. What a great shot there by Vigneault as he walks in.
I think you're wondering if that's what happened there.
I'm starting to wonder too, but in any event, Morgan was able to recover and get that point shot from Weber. Weber got rid of that as quickly as he could, but Morgan just kind of jumped right back into position. 9:08 to go here in the second period. 1:23 to go here in the second period. There are 1:23 remaining in the Flyers power play. As the Flyers control, here's Vigneault. Vigneault working his way in, fires a shot, blocker save Morgan. Weber had the puck hop over his stick and he couldn't pull the trigger on the rebound. Here's Vigneault, right point, down into the corner. Pino back for Vigneault, for Weber, back for Vigneault. Vigneault spin back and delay, back over for Pino at the top of the right circle. Over for Weber. Weber back for Vigneault. Vigneault walks in, fires a shot. Morgan the save, the rebound squeaked through. Weber with another shot from a bad angle. That goes off the shoulder of Morgan, and he goes down, and he needs a breather, and there's some more pushing and shoving going on after the whistle. With 8:33 to go here in the second, 48 seconds to go in the Flyers power play.
Yeah, they like Vigneault. They give him the puck a lot on that right wing. He's a smooth skater.
And again, mentioned it earlier in the week, his father was spent 5 years playing in the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League.
Some blood, some little hockey blood there.
And his father and Malik Vigneault now have some very similar skating abilities. Alex Vigneault, of course, spent 4 years at the Moncton Wildcats, wrapped up his junior career with the Acadie Bathurst Titan, and found a home in Moncton, and I'm sure the Flyers are happy as there's a shot from Sear that finds the trapper of Morgan. Of course, Malik Vigneault played U15 in Dieppe with the Dieppe Flyers, and then he played his first year eligibility to play U18. He actually went away and played in prep school in the States, and so this is his first year with the Flyers, but in his second year eligibility of being U18. So that 1 year away certainly has improved his game and his development for sure. He did put on a little bit of size as well. As off the draw, Flyers control. Moret has that pass bounce off his skate, and that'll be corralled by the Blizzard, and they'll play it back down into Moncton territory. Moret for Caleb Sia. Up the left side. Pass over for Summers in over the line. Summers fires a shot right on, and Morgan with the save. And he hangs on, and the defenseman Ethan Hines making sure Mr. Summers doesn't go take an extra liberty on Will Morgan. 8:06 to go here in the second with just 21 seconds remaining in the Flyers power play.
Yeah, Summers is an experienced enough player to know that this game is important, so they're not going to have any extracurricular.
There's a shot from the point from Sia, and Sia finds the Blizzard logo. If the Flyers haven't hit the 40 shot mark at this point, they've only added 4 shots since the start of the period, according to the stats. But I think there's been a few more shots than that. Yeah, it's been a game for sure for Will Morgan. Here's Sia at the line, working his way down low. He'll hit the brakes, back to the point. Summers tried to play over for Moret, but fanned on the pass, and it comes out to neutral ice. The penalty too strong has expired, and the teams are now back at even strength. 7:40 to go here in the second. As there's a turnover, here's DeVoe, fires a shot, and that's turned aside there by Morgan. As the net does come off its pegs to the right of Morgan. A couple of bodies went down hard and behind the net. And some more conversation going on down in the far corner. 7:31 remaining here in period 2.
Got the Flyers have the Blizzard pinned in this corner. Been 5 or 6 face-offs here in the last 5 minutes down here.
See, I thought there was a penalty coming up because one of the Blizzard players was taken down really hard behind the net, but it turns out the play was stopped because the net came off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As the Blizzard will play it up over onto the far side. Party trying to kick it free, does. Casey trying to keep it in deep. It'll come out to neutral ice. Villa trying to step up. He'll poke it back inside the Blizzard line. Party on the near side. Feeds it over through the middle of the ice. That was knocked down. And back the other way. Now come the Flyers. Here's Belanger with a shot right on. Richard looking for the rebound, but he couldn't get a stick on it. Here's Casey throwing it out in front of the goal, and that just sails to the right of Morgan. Under 7 to go here in the second period. Here's Richard out in front of the goal, and he's denied. Belanger all over the ice here for the Flyers, and Richard with the big hit, and there's a big hit on Veilleux, and Flynn is very slow to get up. This is probably going to be called a head contact penalty.
It was right below my camera angle.
And
oh, no, you got it.
Yeah, you got it, and his hands did come up and hit the head of Flynn.
Yeah.
Is this only going to be a 2, or are they going to call this one a 4?
That's the 6'5" against the 5'6".
And they did call it a 4. They called it a 4. A 4 minute. So an opportunity here for the Moncton Flyers, or for the East Coast Blizzard, excuse me, as they've got a double minor for head contact on Veilleux, and
that's just a size difference there, I think.
I think so.
It's tough to get low on those hits.
Here's Connors down into the corner. Piercy out in front of the goal, back for Strong, excuse me. He fires that one just wide of the goal. Connors down into the corner. Party gets bumped along the wall, but he plays it into the corner. Modag's there to pick it up. He'll fire it hard off the wall and back down into Blizzard territory. So Veilleux off for head contact, the double minor. 6:10 to go here in the second. 3:25 to go in the double minor. Weber comes up with that loose puck. He can't clear it out. That was knocked down. Here's Connors working his way in. Fires a shot, and that misses the glove side of Cormier. Here's Declan Flynn. His shot. That goes off the goalpost. McCarthy spins and fires. Cormier the save. Big rebound is there, and it's denied there. Connors was denied. Here's, actually, correction, that was Flynn. That was Connors who turned it over. Here's a 2-on-1 shaping up. Weber is down into Blizzard territory with a shot right on. Morgan really made sure to squeeze his body down tight to make sure that didn't squeeze through. And the Blizzard goaltender, who continues to be busy even when the Blizzard are on the power play. 5:37 to go here in the second. 2:54 remaining in the Blizzard's power play.
Somehow generated that odd man rush on the penalty kill.
I'm starting to wonder if the stats guys were starting to fall asleep or lost track of how many shots there was, because now they still say there's only 4 shots apiece in this second period. But I think the Flyers are up around the 10 to 15 mark, as there's a long pass down the ice, and the Blizzard beat out the icing call. Even the music guy thought it was going to be icing there. Back to the point. Here's Flynn. He winds and fires. That goes off a leg. Bounces over to the near side. Dillon now with it. Onto the near side. Jones down into the corner as the Blizzard turned that over, and the Flyers are able to get it all the way down the ice. Dillon being pressured there by Simon Bork. Bork just keeping Dillon in behind the goal, and a nice job there by Simon Bork to kill off another 30 seconds or so. Here's Flynn in over the line, gets around Berube. Flynn, he'll get bumped into the wall. Berube kind of trying to kick it up to his skates. And it's Flynn once again out in front of the goal. There's a shot right on by Yabsley, and that just sails to the right of Simon Cormier. Flynn back to the point. Here's Jones. Jones going back door. That goes right through the feet of Flynn, bounces off the wall. Richard will pick it up, and he'll clear it out in the neutral ice. 1:45 to go now in the penalty to Jacob Veilleux. 4:20 remaining here in the second period. Flyers up by a pair at 3-1. As Berube will pick up that loose puck in the neutral zone. That gets cleared out in the neutral ice. Puck gets knocked out of the air with a high stick by the Blizzard. And that'll result in a stoppage in play with 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go here in the second. 1:29 still remaining in the penalty to Jacob Veilleux.
Definitely some more activity here from the Blizzard side, but the Flyers continue their pressure. Even with shorthanded.
Play is back underway here as the Blizzard. Connors has it kicked down into Moncton territory. Connors and Moret go into the corner. Connors takes down Moret. Play continues along the near wall. As the Blizzard trying to work their way towards the front of the goal. Connors has it taken away from there by Moret, but Moret is unable to clear it out. He'll get a second chance now, and he will get it all the way down the ice. Under a minute to go now in the penalty to Veilleux. 3:38 to go here in the second period. Here's Strong through the neutral zone. He'll feed it over onto the right side for Connors. Connors, his pass goes off a stick. Flynn using his reach to not allow Weber to break away again. Moret now in behind the goal. He'll find the opening and get it all the way down the ice. As that'll get played into the corner. Flynn takes down Pino in the corner. And so the Flyers very aggressive on the power play. They're in the penalty kill. Here's a long pass through the neutral zone. Party gets pushed off the puck as the puck will come loose once again, and Pino fires it back down the ice. 10 seconds to go now in the Flyers penalty. One final rush on this power play for the Blizzard. In over the line, Connors winds and fires. That shot goes off a stick and straight up into the roof. And it results in a stoppage in play with 1 second to go in the double minor to Jacob Veilleux. So the Flyers did a great job not allowing the Blizzard really to have any looks in that 4-minute double minor to Veilleux with 2:44 to go here in the second.
Not only that, they had some offensive opportunities too.
And that's the thing about this Flyers all-around team really, is the puck is dropped and Veilleux is back on the bench, and now the teams are now back at even strength.
Take one guy away and they're still
dangerous.
Yep.
As that'll be played to the middle of the ice. Here's Bork in over the line, trying to drag it around Griffith. Bork gets pinned against the wall by Griffith, but McPhee has it in behind the goal. Out in front of the goal, there's a shot by Bork. Couple of whacks at it, they score! Seymour Bork with his second of the afternoon, and the Flyers have extended the lead to 3 at 4-1. And that goal there, that was just Seymour Bork not stopping moving his feet. He got pinned against the wall. Puck ended up going behind the net. Bork just drove right to the front of the net. McPhee with the perfect pass onto Bork's stick, and he was able to bury it past Morgan. And again, the lead is now 3. It's 4-1 with 2:19 to go here in the
second of the game.
That is his second of the game. He opened the scoring for the Flyers on the power play in the first period, and that is his second of the afternoon. Here's Veilleux. Plays it up onto the near side. That pass broken up. Russell, he gets pushed off the puck. Weber gets bumped. He pushes his man down. A couple of bodies go crashing down to the ice, and it's the Flyers coming up with it. Galton had his stick wrapped up in the jersey of Weber, and he was late. He had to wait for his stick. Here's Veilleux. Drops it over for Weber. Weber fires a shot. That goes off the outside of the net. Here's McPhee on the near side. He gets bumped through the neutral zone. Now here's Duffett. Duffett fires a shot. That gets blocked there by the tree trunk of a leg of Jacob Veilleux. McPhee, he gets bumped. Comes over into the near corner. Here's Weber. He'll play it back behind the goal for Veilleux. Actually, it'll be Vigneault. Plays it over back for Weber. Vigneault avoids the hit down in the corner. Flyers play it over to the open wing. Vigneault will pick it up. He'll fire it towards Summers, and it actually goes right down onto Morgan, so no icing. Play continues as we approach the 1 minute mark here in the second period.
1 minute remaining in the second period.
Pass up onto the left side as the Blizzard will dump it down into Moncton territory. Sears there to wrap it around the wall. They'll be picked up on the near side. Chasing it down is DeVoe down in the corner. I thought DeVoe beat that icing out.
He did. That should be overturned and put at center.
I would say that's, and actually they are going to put it at center ice. The linesman admitted it, admitted that was his fault.
It's the hybrid icing rule. It's a new rule this year.
Yep.
So,
and DeVoe clearly had that one beat out.
Yeah.
And so 47.1 seconds to go here in the second period. That'll get chopped back up the wall. DeVoe Plays it back for Sia. Sia will come back onto the left side for Luc Moret. Moret gets the red line. He'll fire it in wide of the goal. And Pino trying to get there first, but it's chopped up onto the near side. Puck battle along the wall. The Blizzard will fire it down the ice, and this is going to go down for an icing call as Sia will be the first one to get across that imaginary line. And so the face-off will come back into Blizzard territory with 24.4 seconds to go here in the second period. Again, a 4-1 Moncton Flyers lead. A pair of goals by Sima Bork. Goals, plural. Jackson Summers and Dimitri Blanger with the other goals for the Flyers. Declan Flynn replying for the Blizzard. Declan Flynn's goal was a rolling puck knuckle ball. He didn't get much on the shot, but I don't think Cormier's seen much of it because there's a lot of traffic in front of him, and he just managed to find the back of the net. Here's Moret at the point. He feeds the shot through. That goes off the blocker of Morgan, and that one went straight up in the air and into the rafters.
A little extra honeycomb filling in that blocker. I don't.
Little extra oomph in it. See if we'll have to check it and see if it's corked like the old baseball bats used to be. As the Flyers play it back to the far point, Sear will chop it back into Blizzard territory. Pass over onto the left side. Bork avoids a hit. Puck gets played out in the neutral ice. Here's Luc Moret. His pass up the middle of the ice. Here's Pino working his way in. Pino gets the shot. Morgan got a piece of that. And the rebound will go over onto the far side. And the buzzer will sound to bring to an end the second period here at the Credit Union Center. And the Moncton Flyers are heading to the dressing room up by 3 at 4-1 after 40 minutes of play. We can see and take an attempt to see if they're actually updated the shots on goal here. But I know the Flyers got a pile of them in that second period as well. Yes, they did get a pile of them in that second period. Shots on goal in that second period for the Blizzard, 10 for a two-period total of 15. For the Flyers, 25 for a two-period total of 48. So the Flyers got just as many shots on goal in that second period than I've seen some teams get all game this year. So the Flyers really throwing the biscuit early and often towards the goal against Will Morgan. And, they succeeded to get it past him 4 times, but nonetheless, Will Morgan has kept the Blizzard in this game as much as he could. Really, none of those goals were his fault. I mean, there's just mad goalmouth scrambles and just odd man rushes and power play goals and
different energy levels between these two teams.
It totally is. Second period intermission coming up. We'll take a quick timeout. Scott and I will talk about that second period and get all set for third period action here at the Credit Union Center in Kensington. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships here on AO Live. Credit Union Center in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. Second period intermission here at the 2024 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships. Jeff Robichaud along with Scott Drummond. Scott, the first game of the day. Moncton Flyers coming out with a lot of jump and a lot of jam in the first 40 minutes as they have a 3-goal lead after 40 at 4-1. And if it wasn't for the East Coast Blizzard goaltender Will Morgan, this could be a lot more lopsided as the Blizzard are already being outshot. 40. What was the final shot tally after that first period? They got outshot 25-10 in that second period, 48-15 in total after 40 minutes of play.
I mean, the play on the ice is pretty well speaks for itself. The Flyers just have that relentless 1-2-3 line pressure, and it's just wave after wave. The defense shut everything down. I mean, every opportunity that the Blizzards had, Big Value and Vigneault and those guys just clear the puck out, and there's just no chance at all to generate any sort of opportunity on Simon Cormier, and you do have to have him moving, and you have to have people in front of the net, and it's just not happening here for the Blizzard today.
And I mean, even if you look at the goal that the Blizzard scored, it was a point shot from the point. It was a rolling puck. It was more like a change-up, but there was a lot of bodies in front of Simon Cormier, and I don't think he still hasn't seen that shot going over his shoulder.
No.
And really, it's like you said, that's what the Blizzard are going to have to do here in the final 20 minutes is get more traffic to the net, generate more offense off the rush, and use that speed that we heard so much about this team having. That they're going to have to try and find a way to counterattack Moncton's speed as well, coming back both defensively and offensively, because the Flyers come back so quick on the back check that it makes it hard for teams to set up any offensive zone time down in the Flyers' end.
I mean, to the credit of the Blizzard, though, pretty young team, right? Probably don't have a lot of experience on their belts yet for these types of events, and obviously the Flyers, that's not the case. A lot of experienced players on the Flyers. You can tell they're probably, I think a few of those Flyers, I remember doing the broadcasting for the U13 Atlantics here back a couple of years ago, 2022, I think. We could say that year now, when they were hosted in Summerside, and I'm pretty sure I remember some of those names also on the Newfoundland team that actually played in that tournament. So, but again, I think age and experience does come into play.
I mean, and again, you look at some of the players, third-year players like Nathan Weber, and you got guys like Jackson Summers and Jacob Pino. These are all guys who've had Samuel DeVoe, all been in the U18 league now for 3 years. Simon Cormier, with the in goal. He's the third-year goaltender for the Flyers. I mean, this Flyers team is very veteran-laden from top to bottom, and I think these veteran players want to make sure they try and go out with a bang here this year, and they've been just absolutely awesome to watch over the first couple of games. Of course, the Flyers having to play 2 games here today, of course, and the other one's coming up against a very, very tough opponent tonight, the Kensington Wild, the host team, and so I'm sure the Flyers are like, let's just get through this game, get through it as quickly as you can, get back to the hotel, get off our feet and relax, and get ready to go for a team that's going to be sitting there waiting for them, as they haven't played 2 games all tournament back to back like the Wild. The Wild haven't played 2 games, I should say, all tournament. That's the luck of being the host team. You can kind of set up the schedule the way you want it, and they've always caught those teams on the back end of their second game during the day. Yeah, I mean, definitely, but a win today here for the Flyers will stamp their ticket. I think tomorrow. No, it doesn't stamp their ticket, but it makes it a little bit easier. With a win here today, it actually eliminates 2 teams, right? And there's a potential for 3 teams having to go into that mathematical tiebreaker that you and I, it's above our pay grade and probably our brains to try and figure out. So so with a win here for the Flyers, that makes their route to the final a little bit easier. Probable, basically, my understanding is that the Flyers win in regulation and even just pick up a point tonight against the Wild, that would put Moncton and Kensington in the final, is my understanding. Right. Just because of the point differentials, because it breaks down to plus minus, because you'll have 3 teams tied with so many points, and my head starts spinning. Physics degree, algebra. I stopped using that, I think, when I was in grade 6. So we are going to continue our second period intermission coming up in just a couple of moments. The Flyers with a 4-1 lead over the East Coast Blizzard here in our first game of the afternoon. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships here on AO Live. Welcome back inside the Credit Union Center in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. It's the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships. Jeff Robichaud, Scott Drummond with you on this Saturday afternoon. We were talking a little bit about how some of the line juggling had to be done there by John DeCourcy. Just found out that Brady Belleville will not return to the game here this afternoon as he is out with an upper body injury at this point. So we'll wait and see what his status will be for the second game this afternoon. And so the Flyers are going to have to juggle some lines around for the remainder of the game as they have a 3-goal lead after 40 minutes of play. Third period action about to get underway. And again, this game could be a lot more one-sided if it wasn't for the goaltending of Will Morgan, facing 23 shots in the first, 25 shots in the second. That's a total of 48 shots already as we start the third period. The Blizzard with 15 shots in total, 5 in the first and 10 in the second. As they're just getting around to announcing the second goal of the game by Sima Borg back in the second period. As plays down in Blizzard territory, Hines trying to work it free. Bork gets pushed against the wall, but it's come out of the corner there by Pino. He'll feed it over for Veilleux. Veilleux, his shot doesn't get through, and it's picked up there by Jordan Flynn. Flynn trying to spring Sprong, and that was knocked down by Veilleux. And
Spring strong.
And again, Veilleux with that long, I guess, Douglas fir of a stick, trying to knocks it down into the neutral zone. Here's Moret. He'll play it over to the open corner. Pino will spin and fire that right in onto Morgan from center ice, and the Flyers will make some changes. Strong will tip that down inside Moncton territory. Moret off the wall. Berube round for Weber. Weber right away over to the near wing here for McPhee. Up for Summers. Summers hits the brakes just inside the line, and he manages to get it to the top of the circle. The Blizzard play it back onto the near side. It's Yabsley picking it up for the Blizzard. He'll play it back down into the corner, trying to go back to Yabsley. That was broken up the line. Nice job there by Summers to keep it in right at the line, but it'll be picked up by Moores, and he'll chip it down into Moncton territory, right in onto Cormier, who moves it right away for Moret. Moret plays it for McPhee, gets it back to Moret. Here's Berube now, and behind the goal, feeds it over the left wing for Weber. Weber through the neutral zone, middle of the ice for Summers. Summers in over the line, shot, scores! Jackson Summers rifles that one home past Will Morgan, and I think Summers might have surprised Morgan with that shot, or he might have been a little bit screened as well, because Morgan didn't quite react as quickly as I thought he would have if he had seen that cleanly. But in any event, the lead is now 4 at 5-1 for the Flyers. Face off back at center ice, and I think the Flyers are trying to make sure that they do their part to make sure that they have the best chance at making their way into the final.
That's a plus-minus situation potentially as well. So,
especially if the Flyers win, then it does break down to a 3-team plus-minus. Here's Sia. He'll fire it back into Blizzard territory. Over on the near side, here's Moores. Up for Yabsley, couldn't handle that. Moores will knock it down in the neutral zone. He'll play it back into his own zone. Hines on the left side. He'll get the red line and fire it in wide of Simon Cormier. Here's Caleb Sia. His pass goes off a foot. Yabsley tried to drop it back there for McCarthy, and McCarthy wasn't expecting that. Louis Simon Boucher now for the Flyers. His pass goes off the stick of Richard down into Blizzard territory. Belanger going down below the goal line, battling against two Blizzard players, and it'll be the Blizzard will come up with the puck, but a nice job there by Alex Casey to step in front of the Blizzard defenseman. Long pass to the neutral zone. Here's Pino in over the line, snaps the shot. That's a right pad save there by Morgan. Connors rubs out his man in the neutral zone. Richard takes a bit of a push there from Connors. Puck bouncing around in the slot in Blizzard territory. Bork looking for his third. He bumps his man down to the side of the net, as that was just a solid heavy hit there by Simon Bork as the puck will hop up over the glass and out of play. 3:15 gone here in the third, and it is a 5-1 lead for the Moncton Flyers here in our first game of the afternoon. So the official on the goal by the Flyers, Jackson Summers, Nathan Weber, and Mark McPhee picking up assist. And that goal coming at the 1:43 mark of the third period. Here's Party down in the corner. Pokes it around Bork. Through the neutral zone now. Connors plays to the middle of the ice. Party jumping up into the rush. Down the right side, fires a shot right on. Cormier will grab onto that one with the trapper and hang on. With 16:25 to go here in the third.
Cormier staying sharp. Not a lot of shots on him, but he's a professional goalie, so it's when he needs to make the saves, he's there.
Veteran goaltender, again, third year with the Moncton Flyers. Hasn't been as busy as Morgan. There's a shot that sails wide of the goal. Rebound comes off the end of the rink, and Cormier diving back was able to make that save.
He didn't even see where that puck went.
That just came right back out in front of the goal, and I think that was Connors. Yes, that was Connors standing right there at the side of the net. It came right out in front of him. There's like a Zamboni door at this end of the rink as well, and the puck just hit at the right spot down in behind the goal. Came right straight back out for Connors, and Cormier's diving across with the save, and there's a shot that'll sail high and wide of the glove side of Cormier. Blizzard keeping it at the line. There's a pass into the slot as Jones fires one right on. Cormier with the save. So Simon Cormier seeing a few more shots here in this early stages of the third period from the Blizzard.
Hey, he's had to be sharp on that too. He just realized that puck was there, and he dove over there and moved the net off some more, and that's why the call was down.
I mean, the Simon Cormier's played here enough over the last 3 years. Yeah. He plays in the New Brunswick PEI U18 Hockey League, so he's played against the Kensington Wild, this is their home rink. And so I think he's kind of familiar with some of the bounces here. As the Blizzard cleared up the wall, Pino, he can't do anything with it. There's a delayed penalty here coming up to the Flyers as Simon Bork gets chopped down there by...
Let me see what happened there. It looked like he chopped his top of his foot.
Well, what happened was Bork went in with the big hit. There was a delayed penalty coming up to Bork down in the corner. And Dylan wasn't too happy with the hit, and now the referees are kind of getting together. As Dylan did come down with a big two-hand on him. And it looks like they're going to call Bork for boarding.
That might be an intent to injure or something.
I do believe that is the case. I think they're going to say that's a 5-minute flashing penalty. That's not a lot of padding there. That's top of the foot. And then that's what it is. Dylan has been given 5 in a game there, so. William Dillon is probably one of the last, he's one of the 2008 players on the East Coast
another
Blizzard.
year after this, though.
Yeah. Just a lot of frustration. I think they're just frustrated with the way the Flyers' attack has just kept coming at them. So
that might have been a response to that original hit, though.
That's exactly what it was. The original hit, Bork was going to get 2 for boarding. It was a delayed penalty. Whistle blew, and then all of a sudden Dylan came down with the two-hander in on top of the foot of Simon Bork. So we're going to see some 4-on-4 hockey for 2 minutes, and then the Flyers will be on to the power play for 3 minutes.
Could be an interesting third period here, Jeff, as you know, if the goals get spread out a little bit more and some of these players' last game, hard to say what'll happen.
We still have 15 minutes and 52 seconds of that to go, so I'm sure the Flyers do not want to take their foot off the gas pedal because they want to make sure that their plus-minus is a lot better than any of the other teams that are fighting to try to get in. So right now they're a +4 in this game. So I think that might put them at a +6 or 7 right now on the tournament. As that gets played to the middle of the ice and it's picked up there by Jones.
And the Flyers have to face the first place right now with the Kensington Wild tonight. So it's going to be a long day for them.
Here's Connors skating through the neutral zone. Connors is in over the line, dishes it off. Hines, left side. His shot goes off a stick, straight up into the rafters. And Connors took an extra shot there at Simon Cormier as he was standing in front of the net. Kind of hit him in the pad. So I think you're starting to see some of the frustration from the players of the Blizzard here come out, and it's been a tough tournament for them. They had some emotional highs, some emotional lows, and everything in between.
Great bunch of kids, though. We were talking to them this morning.
Jones wraps it around the wall. Pardy will keep it in at the far corner, trying to play it into the corner for Connors. As Berube plays it in behind the goal, and it'll be picked up there by the Flyers. It'll be Sia spinning back in behind his own goal. I think the Flyers will just elect to let the puck stay in behind the goal until they hit the power play.
Let the clock run down a little bit here.
Yeah, here's Berube. Isaac Berube through the neutral zone. He'll spin back and go all the way back into his own zone. Vingo trying to get away from Connors. He does so. Vingo's in over the line, down the right side. He'll hit the brakes. Plays it back to the point, and Moret will skate it out in neutral ice. So I think that's exactly what the Flyers' intention is just to kind of run out the clock on 4-on-4.
And let them go on the power play.
Go onto the power play for 3 seconds, as there's 25 seconds to go in 4-on-4 hockey. Here's Summers. Far side gets returned pass back. Morgan the save. Rebound rolls wide of the goal. Blizzard will clear it off the wall, back out into neutral ice.
It could be difficult for this 5-minute major if they happen to score. It does not cancel. So
exactly. Here's Richard in over the line, plays it back for Vingo. Vingo for Weber. Weber walking in, patiently waiting towards the front of the goal as Richard was there looking for the loose puck, but it was cleared away as we're now back on a Flyers power play. Summers into the corner for Weber. Weber back to the point for Vingo. McPhee back for Weber. Weber back to McPhee. McPhee with a shot, had a beat on the trapper side, but he fired that one high and wide. Weber down into the corner for Summers. Back to the point for Vingo. Vingo waiting for some traffic. Plays it in behind the goal, goes over to the far side. Summers back to the point for Weber, excuse me. McPhee. He'll fire a shot, and that goes off a stick high and wide. Weber picks it up at the point. Back for Vingo. Back to Weber over on the left side. Tried to feed it there into Summers into the slot, but it goes off a stick. McPhee plays it back to the point. Vingo, his wrist shot redirected, and that's steered aside there by Morgan. Richard trying to get to the loose puck. It's picked up by Weber. Here's Vingo. Vingo fires a shot that goes off a leg wide of the goal. Summers on the puck for the Flyers. Out as far as the line, kept in by Vingo. Vingo goes backdoor. Weber, one-timer to Richard in a beautiful tic-tac-toe play. And Richard had that puck rolling on him, and he couldn't get a clean shot off.
Morgan was moving.
Here's McPhee. His pass into the foot of Weber. Weber plays it there for Pino, back for Weber on the near side. Weber's pass over to the open wing, off the bench. Bork moving his way into Blizzard territory. There's Bork with a shot right on Morgan, the save, rebound, they score! Jacob Pino extends the lead to 5. It is now 6-1. $12:16 to go here in the third, and as you said, Scott, that major rolls over, so the Flyers still remain on the power play with 1:24 to go in the Flyers power play with 12:16 to go here in the third.
Pretty good job killing off 4 minutes of it, though, so.
As off the draw, Casey gets taken down there by Hines.
A lot of that was them killing off the other 4-on-4.
Exactly. Here's Belanger through the neutral zone and over the line. Belanger, he gets stood up, and that will get fired back down into Blizzard territory. Here's Caleb Sia. Up the right side for Casey. Casey's in over the line, wide on Hines. Casey towards the front of the goal. That pass goes off the stick, and that actually almost found the top corner. Here's Richard for Casey with a shot right on. They score! Alex Casey makes it 7-1.
Yes, that quick one-timer caught
Morgan off guard.
Morgan off guard, yes.
I think
I
Morgan
say
got,
Connors. I don't know why. He's not even a goalie.
Morgan did get a piece of it, but he just didn't get enough of it to slow it down. So, and it is now a 6-goal lead for the Flyers here with 11:39 to go here in the third. Seal will bring it all the way back into his own zone. Still 40 seconds to go in the Flyers' power play.
One last rush here.
Here's Belanger in over the line. Belanger toe drags, fires the shot, fires up off the crossbar, puck's loose, and they score. Dimitri Belanger with the rush through the neutral zone. He got the shot off. The initial shot went off the crossbar, and I think it hit the Morgan in the back, and the puck that allowed the puck just to sit there in the blue paint. And I'm not sure exactly who the last one was to touch that, but in any event, the lead is now 7. It is 8-1 for the Flyers. It's still 25 seconds to go in the major penalty to Liam Dillon. Here's Belanger in over the line. Belanger gets taken down by Flynn in the corner. Richard has it knocked off his stick. Flynn and Belanger bump into each other. Here's Belanger in the corner right in front of the goal. Nobody there for the Flyers as the major penalty is now over and the Blizzard are back to even strength as that gets dumped in wide of the Blizzard goal. It bounces off the end wall and Morgan will put the trapper on that one and hang on. 10:46 to go here in the third period. An 8-1 Flyers lead.
That was a 3-goal major penalty, so that put that nail in the coffin, I think, Jeff, in this game.
I would say that the Flyers now with a +7 goal differential alone in this game. I think they're now up around like a +14 or something like that for the tournament. As that'll get played down the ice, I'll have to take a look at that stat again coming into this game.
Number 7, Alexander Casey.
We got coming up next the Max and Knights.
And actually, correction, coming into today's game, the Flyers were a +2 in goal differential.
Okay.
And so now they would be +1, +1, they're up to +8 now.
Right, so with the 1 goal against, yeah.
So they're at a +8. So right now they're actually a +1 over the Kensington Wild right now going into tonight's game.
Interesting.
And if that game ends in a tie, that would be the Flyers' home game when it comes down to the plus-minus differential. If the Flyers get a point or whatever, it's a confusing formula.
Did they use that goal differential formula, or is it
actually if
that
it's
ratio?
Teams. Here's Summers with a shot that gets blocked away by Morgan. Rebound by McPhee. Stop. Weber with a shot. He scores. They use the plus-minus in the 3-way tie.
Oh, okay.
So if there's a 2-way tie, then it goes record head-to-head. As Weber, off the big rebound from McPhee, slides it home. With 10:04 to go here in the third.
Makes it for a long third period. And coach just asking for his players a little bit of effort here as they finish at this period.
The Blizzard followed 30 seconds.
They're leaving people wide open in front of the net.
Yeah. Just a quick reminder, everyone, our next game will come up here at 4 o'clock this afternoon. The Charlottetown Knights will take on the Halifax Max. And that game there potentially could have some more implications on how things break down. But again, should the result of this game stay as is right now, with the Flyers win, that will mathematically eliminate the Charlottetown Knights and the East Coast Blizzard.
Yes, that's right.
So who knows what we'll see.
The Max still have a chance.
The Max still do have a chance, but it's going to be, with the result being like this now, it will be really mathematically hard if it goes into a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
And they use that plus-minus tiebreaker format. As that'll get played over around the wall, Party up the right side. Flyers keeping it in at the line. Connors in behind the goal for Cleary. Hardy placed it over to the far side. They called Dimitri Bellinger.
Bellinger.
Here's Vigno in over the line. He'll fire the shot. That gets steered up over the glass and out of play.
I've called him Bellinger all year.
And they called, and at one point I've heard them call him.
It's Bellinger, right?
It's Bellinger,
Yeah.
but they called him Bellinger, almost like Cody Bellinger. And they called Caleb Sear Caleb Sire.
Oh yeah, I've done that a few times, but
we might have to go have a conversation with the PA announcer here. As off the draw, Richard trying to kick it free. Richard gets run over by Connors in the slot, and there's going to be a penalty here to the Blizzard as Bellinger goes down. Richard bumps his man in the corner. The whistle blows, and Connors is going to get called for head contact.
Oh yeah, right off the draw,
right in the slot area there.
In the slot.
They put up 2 or 4 there. I couldn't remember. I couldn't see from here.
2, I think. Yeah. Not the primary point of contact. It was a more of a follow through.
Yeah. 9:24 to go here in the third. Here's Piercy off the draw. He has it knocked off his stick in neutral ice.
What was the official on the 5-minute major, Jeff? Was it a...
I think they just called it a 5-minute major for slashing.
Oh, slashing major. Okay.
Back in the third period. Yep, slashing, 5 minutes in a match.
Oh, a match. Okay, that's the intent to injure part.
Yep, as the Matt Goldmouth scramble. Here's Veilleux over for Casey on the right side. Back for Berube. Berube walking in, fires a shot. Morgan the save. Rebound is smothered there by the Blizzard goaltender. And so John DeCourcy now just not bothering putting out his power play units or anything like that. He's just rolling guys out on the ice here now.
Give the guys that probably didn't see the ice too much during the tournament some more playing time.
Yep. This is their regular second unit, except Louis-Simon Boucher is actually on the point with Caleb Seale. Here's Seale wide, firing right on, and Morgan the save. And you can see the Flyers just kind of letting them see it.
Yeah.
They're not going to try. I think John DeCourcy said, you know what, guys, I think we're good at 8 goals. We can just...
Yeah. Well, you don't want pucks going off ankles at this point.
Exactly. Face off to the right of the Blizzard goal. 8:33 to go here in the third. 1:09 remaining in the Flyers power play. Here's Sia at the point. I think they'll just even say, you know what, just play with the puck up around the point, move it around. No, take the shot if it's there. But here's Pino back for Sia. Sia down low. Richard overhandled the puck there. DeVoe had a hard time handling it. DeVoe down in the corner. He gets bumped there by Strong, way down deep in the corner. Here's Pino, all the way back to the point, tried to dish it off for Boucher. Broken up, and here's an opportunity. Flynn trying to chase it down. He gets a stick up on Sia and tried to push him down, and Flynn was the one who went down.
Oh, he lost a blade.
And it looks like he lost a skate blade. Flyers bench trying to reach down and pull it up here. And Strong Flynn slamming a stick in frustration over there on the bench. Here's Pino over to the far side for Veilleux. Veilleux trying to come back for DeVoe. Pass was in behind him as the penalty to Strong is expired. Berube over for Veilleux. Veilleux, his shot goes off a stick and up over the glass and out of play.
The worst part of games like this, Jeff, though, is the Flyers have to knock it into bad habits, and they're going to have to keep that intensity up because that game later on could mean a lot as well.
No, for sure. I mean, that could determine who's going to be the home team at the last change.
Yeah.
In that potential championship game on Sunday afternoon.
That could be a critical component, too, to these games.
If you're keeping track at home, the 50-50 pot is up around $297 already for the day. As that'll get dumped down into Moncton territory. Through the neutral zone, Bellinger spins away from a hit. Cleary plays it over onto the far side. Long pass to the neutral zone. Russell has it taken away from him in the neutral zone. The Flyers will dump it down into Blizzard territory as we're under 7 to go here in the third period. Russell inside Moncton territory. Boucher off the wall for Modat. Modat plays it up for Richard. Yannick Richard's pass goes off the stick, picked up by Casey on the near side. Alex Casey, he gets bumped down, but it's Belanger picking it up. Belanger in between his feet. Drops it there for Tristan Richard, who turns it over. Casey bumps out his man. Puck comes back out in the neutral ice. Party will play it off the wall, and it'll be picked up there by the Flyers in the neutral zone. Summers in over the line. Fires a shot right on. Morgan will steer that aside. Rebound's cleared away. Boucher keeps it in at the line, and he'll get a shot on goal. Morgan will steer that one up off the glass.
Must be reaching 50 shots.
I would say up in that area, but they haven't updated the shots on goal here in the third period. They must be actually well past 50 shots if I had to guess.
Good for the plus-minus average here for, well, the goals against won't help, but lots of shots.
Into the slot, Richard has it go off his skate and rolls right to Morgan. They haven't actually updated the shots on goal since the end of the second period. And like I said, at the end of the second period, the Flyers already had 48 shots on goal.
At the end of the second.
At the end of the second.
Yeah, so we're at least another 15, 20. Maybe.
I'm going to say that it's probably pushing 60 here right now at this point. Berube feeds it over for Veilleux. Veilleux back for Tristan Richard in the near corner. Back to Isaac Berube. Berube with the shot right on. Morgan the save. Rebound. This crowd there by the Blizzards. Here's Yabsley. As he'll fire that one up over the glass and out of play. And you know, we talked a little bit about it off the top of the show. This Blizzard team, a young team. You know, you just look at some of the dates.
11 2009s.
There's 11 2009s, a couple of 2008s, and one 2007.
Yeah.
So this team here is going to be really good for years to come. As there's a shot that goes off the shoulder of Morgan by Richard and finds the back of the net. And the Flyers have made this a 9-goal game at 10-1.
Somehow find the back of the net there.
Richard just skating through the slot area, and you got a shot off, and it went off the blocker of Morgan up into the air, and then got across the goal line.
Guess they're sticking with Morgan in nets for the rest of this game.
This would probably be Morgan's final year with the Blizzard.
Oh, right.
U18. He'll probably be playing somewhere Junior A, possibly, or even with the Charlottetown Islanders next year. He is a Charlottetown Islanders draft pick. As we're under 5 minutes to go here in the third. Here's Veilleux. His pass up for Casey, tips down into Blizzard territory. Flynn and Casey bump into each other at the end of the rink. Flynn holds Casey against the wall. Puck comes over onto the near side. Flynn takes down Casey, and the referees are just going to let them play at this point.
Yeah, Casey didn't like that, though.
As he took another run at Flynn and said, you know what, you want to play that way, I'll throw another hit. There's a shot from Jones, and that will be easily handled there by Simon Cormier.
Well, you can bet the refs will just kind of look the other way. let them play it through.
Okay, so I was a little off on our shot count.
Oh, would it be 70?
They finally updated it. The East Coast Blizzard with 5 shots this period for a 3-period total of 20 so far with 4:24 to go.
Still a lot of shots for the Blizzard.
The Flyers with 24 shots in this third period for a 3-period total of 72 at this point.
With 10 goals scored against Morgan. That's incredible.
That's 62 saves for Will Morgan. As the puck bouncing around inside the Blizzard line. And as the puck gets played down into Moncton territory, Cormier into the corner. Connor's trying to play it into the slot as that was broken up. And the Flyers are skated out. Bork through the neutral zone and over the line. Coe drags it, and he fires one high and wide. Bork with a pair of goals here this afternoon. Here's Jones and over the line, drops it there into the slot. And that was broken up. Richard for Weber, back for Richard. Drops it for Weber. Weber knocks that down. Trying to get a shot off. That rolls off the end of his stick. Richard at the side of the goal. A couple of whacks at it, and Morgan with the save. Connors bodies Richard. All the way back. Here's Veilleux. Fanned on his pass. Don't know what I was trying to say there. Here's Weber at the point towards the front of the goal. McPhee with a backhand shot right on, and Morgan with another save. 3:10 to go here in the third period.
Tongue twister.
Face-off is to the right of Morgan. Drop up. Veilleux chops him in, down into the corner, delayed offside against the Flyers. As we have 3 minutes to go here in period number 3. The Flyers up by 9 at 10-1. Here's Hines on the near side. He gets bumped there by Berube. Russell into the slot. That pass goes off the foot of Duffett. And the Flyers will skate it away. Here's Weber. He'll just get the red line and he'll play it down into the near corner. McPhee down there in the forecheck. The Flyers just sending one guy in now, leaving all the other 4 of them back at the blue line. As it's played down into Moncton territory by Russell. Russell has it taken away from him on the near side. Casey trying to play it to the middle of the ice. That pass was broken up. As the Blizzard just get it inside Moncton territory, see it over for Boucher. Puck knocked down to the air with a glove. Here's Griffith in the neutral zone. In over the line, down the left side, snaps the shot, and that goes just wide of the blocker of Simon Cormier's. We've got under 2 minutes to go now here in the third period. Here's Casey up the right side. He'll just play down into the corner. As Strong bodies Richard in the corner. Casey now has it. He gets bumped there by Strong. Casey just trying to kill off some more time. He'll drag it against the wall here. Yannick Richard coming in. He'll knock it free, but the Blizzard will clear it out in the neutral ice. Here's Boucher. His pass off the foot of Yannick Richard. Picked up there once again. Casey fires a shot right on. Morgan with the save, and he will hang on with 1:15 to go here in period number 3.
Can't get over that. 65 saves probably right now for Morgan.
I mean, right now it's still 70. They haven't added to the shot total, but it's still 72 shots on goal right now. This puck's bouncing around. The Flyers will play it down into the corner. Bork kind of absorbed the hit. That'll allow the Blizzards to come up with it. Here's Party. He'll play it off the glass out in the neutral ice. Bork with it once again. As we are under a minute to go here in the third, as Bork's shot goes off a stick and up over the glass and out of play.
Yeah, the Flyers just have to get out of this game without any injuries, no suspensions, no extra penalties. Let's focus on the game against the Wild and what's going to be a full barn here tonight, 7:30.
Yeah. Here's Veilleux. There's a shot that gets knocked down on the way through. Blizzard will play it out in the neutral ice. Here's Connors in over the line, dishes it off for Strong. Strong playing it towards the front of the goal. That was broken up there by the Flyers, and it's Belanger. He'll just get the red line and play it down into the corner. Cleary back to get it for the Blizzard. He'll slowly skate it out through the neutral zone. Play it up the left side for Piercy. Piercy has it knocked off his stick. Casey gets around Connors, and he'll just roll it down into Blizzard territory with 20 seconds to go. You know, you talk about that game tonight, you almost should move that up to the big rink up in Summerside with how big the crowd there will be. And there's a penalty here coming up to the Blizzard. Connors going to go off for the slash with 14.3 seconds to go here in the third.
Well, we get some more ticket sales if they do that, I'd say. They'll be sold out here tonight.
Oh, definitely. The fire marshal, if he hears about that, he might come by and take a look because there'll be people hanging from the rafters here. Because you got all the big contention from Moncton, or from Moncton that came here.
Arm wrestling these guys over here.
As the puck is dropped, the final 10 seconds is ticking away. Boucher, he's being pressured there by Strong. He'll just play it in behind the Flyers' goal. And the clock will run out. The buzzer will sound. And the Moncton Flyers have come out victorious by a final score of 10-1 here in our first game of the afternoon here at the Credit Union Center in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. Coming up in just a moment, we will have the players of the game presentation. I think you definitely have to go with Will Morgan for the Blizzard.
I mean, I would. It's 10 goals against, but 65 saves other than that.
Well, as of right, it's more than that for sure.
I mean, it's incredible. He kept them in the game for the first period and a half, and then things started to kind of fall down. And then but look, they're talking to him over there, and it's
right now on the website, on the game sheet, they have the official shots on goal in the third period at 28-5.
Okay.
So that's 76 shots on goal that he's faced here this evening or this afternoon.
For those following home, the shots in this game after 60 minutes was East Coast Blues with 20, and the Moncton Flyers was 76.
So I guess that is the official final shots on goal, 76 shots.
66 saves.
Today's Player of the Game Awards will be presented today by Maurice Thériault with Hockey New Brunswick.
So Maurice Thériault from Hockey New Brunswick making the players of the game
East Coast Blizzard.
presentations.
Warning number 6, Declan Flynn.
Okay. Scoring the only goal for the Blizzard here today, Declan Flynn. That shot from the point in the second period managed to find its way to the back of the net.
Solid defenseman here, though, for the Blizzard.
For sure. At least he was able to hang on to his trophy.
Poor
Charlie Benino yesterday.
For the Moncton Flyers, we have wearing the number 18, Jackson Summers.
And Jackson Summers with another big game for the Flyers. He is the player of the game. And so with that, the teams are going to line up and shake hands. And we're gonna go to a quick break, and we'll come back and wrap things up very quickly here. We'll talk a little bit about what this game actually has done for the standings and what is going to happen for the rest of the day. You're watching the 2025 U18 Atlantic Hockey Championships here on AO Live. Welcome back inside Credit Union Center here in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. Told you it was going to be a very quick break, and then we came right back. We're going to wrap things up here very quickly, but with that win for the Moncton Flyers here this afternoon, the Flyers now have knocked out 2 of the 5 teams. They've knocked off the East Coast Blizzard, who suffered their second loss, and now that mathematically eliminates the Charlottetown Knights from a trip to the provincial to the Atlantic Finals here tomorrow afternoon. So the Flyers really needed that one, and of course they needed that big plus-minus differential, because now if it does come down to that 3-team tiebreaker, depending what happens in the game here tonight against the Kensington Wild, the Max will definitely need to come out with a big win against the Knights here this afternoon. Excuse me. I had a tickle in my throat. The Max are going to have to come out with a big win this afternoon, because they're -1 currently right now in the plus-minus differential, and the Knights right now, or the Wild right now, are at a plus, I do believe, +4 in the plus-minus differential. So depending what happens in that game tonight, And what happens here this afternoon, we could see a very interesting three-way tiebreaker with the, as we talked about, the plus-minus formula and the algebra that we need to do to figure everything out.
Yeah, I mean, dominating performance here by the Flyers, but a very deep bench. And, I mean, hats off to Morgan here for the Blizzard. I mean, unbelievable performance by him. 66 saves. I mean, we can't discount that. As the game went on, you can tell as a lot of the players, the body language just was not there. And, I mean, Morgan did what he could in this situation, and definitely a top-class goaltender.
I'm expecting to see this Blizzard team back here in a couple more Atlantics over the next couple of seasons. They're such a young squad and a lot of talent. A lot of young talent on that East Coast Blizzard team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with them coming up next year. So again, we talked about it just a moment ago. Our next broadcast coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And again, it's a big game for the Halifax Max now. After the Flyers came out with this win here this afternoon, they take on the Charlottetown Knights, and puck drop for that's coming up at 4 o'clock. And just quickly, your thoughts on what to expect in that game?
Well, I mean, like you said, the Knights don't have a chance probably to continue on here now. So, but you know, the Max still are very much there's a chance for them. Well, I mean, it's they have to score an awful lot of goals.
It's a long shot, but they
you know, that loss against the Wild here last night for the Max kind of was the detriment to that. Now they have to score a lot of goals, but they're a great hockey club, and it depends how the Knights respond too in this game that really doesn't matter in the standings, and we'll see what happens there later on.
And so that being said, we're going to wrap things up very quickly. On behalf of Scott Drummond, producer Tara King, I'm Jeff Robichaud. Once again, the Flyers with a 10-1 win over the East Coast Blizzard here in our first game of the afternoon. Our next game coming up at 4 o'clock as the Charlottetown Knights and the Halifax Max will clash right here at Credit Union Center. You've been watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships right here on AO Live.